Okej. Halo, halo, dzień dobry. Mam nadzieję, że mnie słychać, że mnie widać. Po angielsku? Okej. Za dużo spotkań. Hello, hello, hello. I hope that you can hear me, you can see me. We will be starting. I was told that if you have any questions, you can post them online. And then at the end of the presentation, of course, I will have time to answer questions. And well, what's there? Let's start. I will be talking about those bloody games that destroyed education, or at least so says I. So let me take you for a short lesson, a history lesson. There will be two variants. Let's see which one you're going to like more.
You can do this! Yes, sir! Oh, Jesus. Daniels, this way! Hurry! Private Daniels, get to the seawall! Daniels, use the banger, I'll cover you! After we breach, keep pushing towards the bunker!
So, dear ladies and gentlemen, well, that's what education looks like now. Because of the pandemic, because of online education, but also because you, the producers of games, you just destroyed education completely by making games that are too good in comparison to what we teachers can do in the classroom. So thank you very much. Or we'll see if it's really like that. So today I will try to show a few aspects of teaching without games and with games, and how game developers actually can support teachers, but taking all the profits that there is. So let's see what actually happened in the last half a year or so. In many places, I mean, I will be concentrating mostly on Poland because that's what I was reading about Polish education, is the fact that students were left on their own without computers, without access to software for various reasons. But one thing that was always working was games. Schools were adapting very slowly, too slowly, even though the teachers were working really hard. And then games, they always were there. If the level was too difficult, you can always adjust it, you can always change it, you can always switch it off, you can always apply a mod. Education didn't work that efficiently. When in all this pandemic, you were taking, as a student, you were taking tests, quizzes, or exams, maybe you had a chance for a makeup or maybe for a retake, but all the grades were final. But at the same time, in those 6 months of school, every time you were playing a game, you could redo it, retake it, play it a different way. No one was stopping you by telling you one chance only. And finally, if you were lucky to get a good book and good teacher and good syllabus, great. But if you were not lucky to get that, or at least one of them, well, I don't want to use swear words, but many students suffered, and statistics show, and the studies show, that at least half of students suffered extremely due to online teaching. But with games, well, you just switch off to a different game. Everything is fine. So in comparison, education didn't really live up to expectations, even though as teachers we really know how to do it. Experiential learning, it works. If you can make people feel what is happening, then they are learning much, much better. For instance, playing a game, Medal of Honor, storming this Omaha beach, This really teaches you what those people felt then and allows you to conceptualize what solutions and what problems they were really facing. Cooperative learning. Again, online learning was supposed to help us in learning from others and with others, and it didn't work as well as it could. In games, well, go to a server, play a multiplayer game, and you're already in a team cooperating. And then all of that is based on a cognitive approach. We are not in behaviorism anymore in education. We already know that it doesn't really work that well. Giving kids and students rewards and punishment only. We don't learn this way. Game designers, you already know it and you apply it because you have to. If you don't, well, the game doesn't sell. And in education, we still have to finish teaching. So we need more and more support, not only from teachers, but from games and game developers, because you already have some of our solutions, but they are not really getting to us teachers yet. So let me show you by example what I really mean. I studied English. I got my MA. I studied English for 5 years. I took my PhD studies. Unfortunately, no PhD yet, but I finished my 5-year-long PhD studies in English, in linguistics. I have been teaching English for 20 years now at colleges and universities and teacher training colleges. And still, I will say that I learned English because I wanted to play Civilization. So as you can see, there is this little Civilopedia. I read that with my cousins. There were 3 of us sitting in front of the computer for 2 months of holidays. We wanted to play this game so badly, we learned English. And then it was Star Wars X-Wing. I mean, I was flying there. I was in it. And the voice telling you what to do, but you've got to be quick. So you've got to understand it and react. And that's how most people are learning languages and other skills. They learn best when they learn them as tools to do something else they want to do. Hey, wait a minute. That's how games work. You're learning how to play a game because you want to have fun in the game, not because you want to learn the mechanics of the game. This system of learning through fun, it works. At least it worked for me. So there are lots and lots of educational games available. Just try and Google anything for teaching resources. There really is a lot, a vast amount, millions of resources and web pages, but searching within millions is difficult. Then there are games like the World Peace game. I love it, but I have never ever heard a teacher telling me that they are able to implement it when the game takes the whole day, and then preparations and discussions after the game will take together 3-4 days. No one can do it in a lesson. Monopoly, the worst of the best and the best of the worst. So let's leave it. And Game of Life, well, yes, sure, you can play it at the family table, but then is it really as much fun in the classroom? I wouldn't say that. So what teachers are really left with are resources prepared by other teachers, and very often it's just so educational, then the fun factor is minute. So, what teachers feel like they do, we're really doing everything we can. Probably students think that we're not doing much. But what we really are doing is everything for the education and around the education as specialists in computers, IT, learning management systems, and games on top of that. So let's have a quick look at what's on offer. This will be a subjective choice by me, and it will be very, very quick. If you have questions, please ask them at the end. I will just show you a few games that I would take and I could use straight away for teaching as they are. I don't want to change them into educational games. I want to take those games as they are. So, what is that for me? Frostpunk, I find already there. Philosophy, ethics, history, sociology, creative writing, mathematics, physics, chemistry, you name it. I believe that I could teach or use it as a teaching resource as the game is straight away. Beyond Humanity Colonies, I know the game isn't out yet, but, well, I like it. Political sciences, sociology, statistics, logistics, management, electronic engineer, computer sciences. I mean, all the pieces are there in the box. Just use it creatively as a teacher. Students will love it. Smartphone Incorporated. Well, economy, marketing, business, startup workshops, mathematic models. Remember I was telling you about those cooperative learning, cognitive approach, about experiential learning. That's it. Put this game on the table. You don't need to do much more. Civilization, oh, I was talking about that. History, definitely. Historical accuracy, even more because of the mistakes there are in the game. Who can find them? Who can show better solutions? Black stories, I love using this resource for languages, grammar, vocabulary, creative writing, but also just editing, lettering, graphical design. Everything is there. The Witcher, hello all the Poles. Yes, this is our game. History, but why not? Metallurgy, creative writing, literature studies. Remember, there are games, there are films, there are comic books, and there are books. Link them. Political sciences, film studies, game design, graphical design. It's all there waiting for the taking. Secret Hitler, unfortunately, I haven't had a chance of playing it, but I read about it. And it is ready to take to the university. Sabak, that's how I was teaching my children to count. Adding, subtracting, estimating, guessing. It's already there, the basic skills that are taught in grade 0, 1, 2. Invisimals, my son was playing it, and that's how we started talking about environment and biology and different animals and how those are combined here in the game. Kerbal Space Program, my son was 10 when he started talking about rockets and how they travel around space. Well, not because he's a rocket scientist at age 10. Alice is Missing, that's a new game. Again, I didn't play it yet. I read about it, I have it, read the cards. I would love to play it, but not just for fun. It can also be used for psychology, media studies, creative writing, languages, and so on and so forth. And finally, even something as simple as Spyfall. You just hand out the cards, talk for 2 or 3 minutes, bring them back. It's an awesome game. And it really works as it is, straight from the box in the classroom. So, I showed you quite a few examples. Let's just stop for a minute and look at 3. So, I was already telling you about this Omaha beach and storming it. Whether it's Call of Duty or Medal of Honor, that's your choice or how much money you have with your students. But let's start with Medal of Honor because it's easy to buy and possible to play on the internet. Well, prepare one computer. If you have students in an online class, well, they can have the game on their computers, or maybe they can have links to videos that they just pick up at random, and we'll see what's going to happen. And then put them in the line, just 10 of them. Well, let's see how many of you can really take the beach. That's the experiential learning I was talking about. Of course, we can show students Private Ryan or any other war film, but there's something even better now. We have games and the goggles for some of them. So, those to take the beach, one kind of homework. Those who don't, another kind of homework. Those who weren't lucky enough or maybe unlucky to actually be in the 10 students taking the beach, still different homework or different part of the discussion. They will feel it, they will cooperate, and we're coming back to cognitive approach to teaching. I wanted to take a game to show you how much can be done. I decided to take a game that is already discontinued. So here is Star Wars Destiny. Edit descriptions for clarity. Well, that's one thing you could have, whether you study languages, whether you study editing. Prepare graphics to fit cards and dice. Again, graphical design. Calculate probability of a dice result or probability of a combo or maybe even more. Prepare a meta. So if you study logistics, if you study statistics, if you study mathematics, all of that can be done. Let's just play a game, but let's see who's best in actually calculating all of those probabilities, and so on and so forth. Describe a gameplay as a story when you study literature or film studies. Describe factions and their ideologies or maybe philosophies behind them. Well, students of history, students of philosophy, students of international relationships. Analyze marketing strategies of Fantasy Flight games. If this was such a good game, why did they discontinue it? Well, students of economy, business, marketing, it's all there for the taking. Or even if you have vocational schools for tailors, prepare clothes for cosplay. Or another vocational school, you want to be a cook, a chef, prepare dishes inspired by the locations. I mean, ideas are limitless, but you want some good starting point that will keep the kids or the students going on. And then the game that I have been using for years, Once Upon a Time. Here is the list of rules that I found is enough to play the game. And actually with this game, the producers, they do provide a very short, succinct list of pieces of advice. And they also provide guidelines for teachers. But still, in the end, us as teachers, we need something more, or to be precise, we need something less. Show me exactly what I can do, how I can do it, give me a sample, show me examples, show me applicability. And that's it. It can be done. So, in the end, teachers will be teaching as well as we can. But a lot of work around teaching, the learning bit, the flipped classroom, it can be done by students. What we all, students and teachers, really need is some support from outside. Game developers, please help us, share the resources. I know, yes, teachers can do it all. I know, we all work just 18 hours a day. I know. If I hear it one more time that I only teach this term 22, 23 hours, I'll start screaming. Really, we don't have time to prepare everything. Take it for granted. So if I hear it one more time, dear teachers, would you be so kind and prepare some additional engaging materials? Yes, sure, we will do it, but then don't expect that we will be bringing those games and engaging activities to every single lesson if, again, we have to prepare everything. Let's stop just for one sec. I know that gamification is not games, and gamification is not prepared by game developers, but gamification, when used in the classroom, and I'm telling you, I was also using it, applying gamification at higher education level for many years, so it does work at all ages. We need resources, we need themes, we need storylines, we need graphics, and most often we don't have copyrights for them. You do. So games and Netflix helped us to survive in the pandemic. Education, generally speaking, failed, but it's not the failure of the teachers only. It's not the failure of the students only. It's the failure of the whole system that didn't look for solutions that are already there, and the market that really didn't come hand in hand with the education. Well, I do believe we can do better. So, what do teachers need? I would say resources, but those resources need to be arranged. They need to be delivered. And best if they could be stratified. What is for students, players? What is for teachers? What is for parents? because they're also in the loop. And then when you have games, when you produce your games, make your games. I don't want you to start doing anything else. Make your games. But when delivering the resources to teachers, can you have teachers involved so they really tell you what they need and what is working? What game developers need is, of course, money, money, money. And that's fine. You are in the business. I mean, you need to earn the money to pay people for their hard work and earn something on top of that. That's fine. That's okay. But help me to help you. I have thousands of students behind me. Every single teacher does. Well, do you want them as players? Because they play games in my lessons. So, let's face it, game developers, game distributors, you already provide nearly everything that we could use for teaching. You do have resources, and you provide them for players. Manuals, rule books, graphics, audio material, video material, everything is there. But when I would like to use it as a teacher, I have to sift through all of that to find what and where is something that I need. And I'm still not sure if I can legally use it. So, what I think, after staying in the business for 20 years as a teacher who is using games in education and gamifies education, game developers, I love you, but can you please stop talking about educational games? Stop talking about costs, because I don't know your business plan and I'm not going to prepare one for you. Recognize the size of the market. Children, teenagers, young adults, and then adults in education. Treat schools and unis and ministries as your target. We're talking about millions of people here. Treat teachers as your target, but also as content creators, and collaborate. Remember about those families and parents? Well, show parents that good games can function alongside education, because it can. We teachers have been showing that for years. Why are we doing all the hard job? Can't you help us? Provide teachers with resources and tools, and then it will be exactly the same resources and tools that parents want to prove to their children that, yes, you can play 1 more hour if you do this assignment. Yes, you can charge everyone if you won't be my guest. So, dear developers, what is there to say? I told you that I started from Poland, so let's finish with Poland. In Poland, we have nearly 6 million students of all ages, and more than 500,000 of teachers in all kinds of schools. So if you manage to reach, let's just say, 1% of those, this gives you more than 500,000, 645,000 potential clients. I think that's good numbers, isn't it? Well, thank you for destroying education. Thank you for your time. I do believe that those bloody games destroyed education, but education needed this shaking. Okay, we have been shaken. Now, we need to start teaching again, and you have the resources. We know how to use them. Let's cooperate. Let's do something about that. Yes, I know you will need to share something. Yes, I know you will need to open yourself to new kinds of delivering, but then you will be earning on that. So why not? At least that's what I believe. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, please write it down in our system, and I'm already looking at it. So, how do you evaluate that students actually learned anything? Well, this is super simple. You run a test. So, what I was usually doing I tried to have a few groups where I was using games and a few groups without games, or when I had gamified classes and non-gamified classes. Well, much more engagement in classes with games and gamification, much better retention after not only days but weeks. And that's what you can see in tests and quizzes, whether they are informal, just to inform students as instant feedback, or whether they are formal, which means that those grades stays in their gradebook. Definitely grades are better because there is better retention and recollection, but also thanks to better engagement, just from the start, the level is higher. So yes, games work. There's lots of studies on that. And, Piaget 60 years ago was writing about fun in education, and Huizinga even before that, generally speaking about human behavior. Yes, we do learn through experience, and we do learn through fun, and this is not dependent on the age. So this belief that we learn through games or fun or play only as children is a complete and utter nonsense. We learn through games our whole life. Doesn't matter if you're 9 or 99, learning through games and fun activities, it just works for us. That's how we are wired in our brain. How would remote teachers use the game examples you've shown? Okay. If you have any questions, it turns out that we don't have more time. Please write to me. I will answer all the questions. And I do think that it's a question to specific tasks, but I can show you the solutions. Thank you very much. As I said, if you have any questions, please write. Thanks.